right, so we are here today with Mitchell Sellers, who is the new leader of the DNN Technology Group. So Mitchell, I've got 5 questions for you. We are coming to the community from inside of a DNN Digest issue. And so my first question for you is, you've been a part of the project for a very long time, and a lot of people know who Mitchell Sellers is and who Iowa Computer Gurus is. How does it feel to be the leader of the DNN Technology Ecosystem Advisory Group?
You know, it's interesting. I've been around for a really long time, and I've been here through, all of the changes that we've seen over, the last 10, 12 years of the time I've been here. It's nice to have a little bit more of a prominent role in helping shape the direction. I think there's a lot of responsibility on the technology group, and including myself, to take ownership of things from a community perspective and to drive us forward. But I think it's an exciting time for the community.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so there's a lot changing in the ecosystem and with DNN Corp in the sense that the relationship between the community and DNN Corp is very different than it was previously. So given that, as the leader of the group, my second question for you is, what is your vision for the DNN Technology Group?
So the biggest part of the vision with the technology group at this point is to put some process in place and focus on improving the quality of DNN and forging a pathway ahead. So we've had a lot of things over the years. We've had a lot of great features that have been added, but there's been some stumbling blocks here and there. There's been some process. There's been a power struggle, if you will, in the past between community contributions and acceptance from Corp and all of those different things. And what we're looking to do right now with this group is to put all of that behind us, embrace this new partnership and relationship between Corp at ESW and the community, and really focus on improving the quality of DNN and then really marching towards the direction that we all know we need to go, which is looking forward towards .NET Core and whatever other technology changes might exist for us in the future.
Gotcha. No, that's great to hear. I think that'll be very reassuring for a lot of community members. And so on that note, my third question is, what message do you have for DNN community members? So if I'm in the DNN community and I'm not down in the weeds, like in the loop with everything that's going on, what would you like for me to understand? What do you want? What is your message to the community, essentially?
I think the key message right now is that times are changing. And in this case, it's a very good change. By having a better relationship with the community driving the leadership, driving the direction, we now have the control, the ability, and the responsibility to improve DNN. Getting processes in place, continuing to refine some of the things that we need to do with all of these new procedures. It's going to take a little bit of time to get it perfect. So we still may have some contribution hiccups. We may get some times where those of us that are approved approvers, if you will, may ask for some more detail or clarifying questions. Maybe we weren't as clear that we needed right away. But the key message, the key takeaway is, with the community leading the charge now of what happens with platform, we have a much better opportunity as a community to fix the things that we want to fix, to implement the things that are going to be beneficial for the community, and to really be a part of the future rather than sitting on the sidelines watching and hoping. We now have the ability to take that power and move forward.
Awesome. Yeah. So on that note, that kind of lends itself to my fourth question. What if I'm a community member? I hear you telling me that community is back in charge now and I want to get involved. So what do you say to the person who says, I don't have much time to give, but I would like to help a little bit? How can someone get involved?
So for those looking to get involved, we have a number of different mechanisms or routes that can be utilized depending on your skill set. We've had recent contributions even in the course of the last couple of days with language translations, for example. Simple pull requests in terms of fixing translation issues or missing translations. things like that. If you're more of a documentation kind of individual, it's definitely easier, to help get contributed with some of the stuff going on in the awareness group and developer groups around documentation. And in the end, we're working to create better documentation out on the wiki for how to contribute in terms of requirements and how to do a pull request, how to create a fork of DNN, those kinds of things. But if you have ideas, if you have things that you're looking for, a great place to get started is just to look at the issues that we have out on GitHub. If you're aware of issues, to get things out there. And then you can talk with one of the members of the technology advisory group. We'll gladly work with you to help get your contribution out there and to find a great way for you to get involved.
Awesome. All right. So my last question is kind of an open-ended question, and feel free to elaborate as long as you would like. What excites you about the future of DNN?
For me, the most exciting thing is, in some ways, we're getting back to the roots of some of the things that helps make DNN great. As we look at DNN, as I got involved in DNN, I came for what DNN is, but I stuck around because of the community, right? I go to the community events because that's where, I've met many great friends over the years, whether it's at the events here in the US or Europe. And it is that community and giving that community the power to contribute, the power to drive that direction, that I think is one of the most exciting things. I also believe that .NET Core is an incredibly exciting thing for us. If we look at what .NET Core really means for us as we transition and create a pathway to get DNN there, I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be something that happens in X amount of time, but as we start to look at that pathway forward, we're really actually talking about taking an application that was developed essentially initially in version 1.0 of the .NET framework, taking it all the way through the life cycle of the .NET framework and transitioning to the latest thing, which is .NET Core. That kind of transition, that kind of migration of a product and that longevity within the same core foundational feature set is an amazing thing. And as a community, being able to be involved in to help shape that direction, I think, is one of the most exciting pieces.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The push to .NET Core could be very strategic and create a lot of momentum and energy in the community. So I'll definitely agree with you there. So, all right, well, that's all I've got. If you have any final thoughts or anything I didn't ask that you want to say?
For me, the biggest thing is, getting involved, however that may be. Don't be shy, and just be aware that this is a big transition as the community works to take over pull request processes, release processes. We're trying to put all of the things in place that we can to make things repeatable and solid and stable as we go through. Things may not be perfect the first couple of times as we get some of the stuff done. But we will do everything we can to make these releases better, to make the processes better, and really more than anything to be informed and transparent to the community with what we're doing. And stay tuned to the .NET community blog, as well as my blog and all of the rest of us on the technology advisory group, because as we continue to get certain pieces and parts of this put together, we're going to be working on blog content and things that may be featured in future digests, to kind of showcase the work that we're going forward on, what's been done, how we've implemented change, etc.
Awesome. All right. Well, appreciate the time, and we look forward to more updates from you and the technology group. So thank you, Mitchell.
Perfect.